On a human level, Original Sin by Jack Tapper and Alex Thompson is a very sad book. Again and again, informants to the authors describe meeting Joe Biden late in his presidency and being reminded of their own elderly relatives in decline. Reading it, I was struck more than once by how closely those descriptions echoed my own father's deterioration. But there is a brutal difference. However ill my father became, he would never have lent his support to a genocide. Across the entire book, I counted just 4 references to the violence in Palestine. This begins with a brief mention of Hamas's atrocity on October the 7th, 2023, and ends with an aside that Gaza policy was the main private disagreement between Biden and his Vice President Kamala Harris. That silence is telling. Tapper and Thompson's focus is relentlessly American. Their concern is the threat Biden's cognitive decline posed to US democracy and the opportunity it gave to a resurgent Trump. They show little interest in the moral collapse of US foreign policy because its victims aren't American. That is disingenuous. The book notes Biden's loss of support among young voters and attributes it entirely to age. It never considers whether revulsion at his support for a racist, genocidal Israeli government may have cost Harris the narrow margins she needed in key swing states. In many ways, Original Sin is strong investigative journalism. It exposes how a small, self-interested inner circle, known as the Politburo, concealed Biden's incapacity in order to preserve their own influence. But the author's indifference to Biden's most murderous policy points to a deeper truth. One of America's original sins is genocide, and too many in power still seem to treat it as an acceptable policy option. The United States has never fully accepted that human rights are meant to be universal. So sometimes it's hard not to feel that in a grim, karmic sense, with Trump, America now reaps what it long sowed for others.